Today we're going to be ranking every single major POI and landmark from Fortnite Chapter 1. Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I'm your guy with too many YouTube channels, and welcome back to another tier list video. This time, like I just said, guys, we're going to be ranking all the POIs and landmarks from Fortnite Chapter 1. Of course, all the major ones. There's some like little random houses here and there that we're not going to be touching on. Also, we have SS all the way down to C. The reason I don't have D or F tier in this is because I'm one of Fortnite's biggest fans. I enjoy pretty much every single spot, so the C tier is going to be the lowest. That's how we're going to do these landmarks and POIs. With that being said, guys, thank you so much for coming. I'd love to hear what you guys think afterwards about all the POIs and landmarks that we talk about. Let's jump straight into it with Pleasant Park, guys. I was never really too big of a fan of Pleasant Park, to be honest with you, okay? We're going to throw Pleasant Park into the C tier. I don't understand the hype behind it, guys. There's a bunch of houses, the soccer field's fun. If we're talking about Doom's Domain, though, Doom's Domain is like an S tier location because that just added to Pleasant Park, but it was just a regular place. Like, to be honest with you, I'd rather land like Tilted Towers or something, you know what I mean? Something along those lines. So, let's keep going. We have the corrupted area from Chapter 1, Season 6. There's nothing special going on here, so it depends how you want to look at this, okay? Because if you want to talk about the corrupted version with the shadow cubes in it, which changed the gameplay, which is really fun, but like the sand tunneling in Chapter 2, Season 5, that was disabled the vast majority of the season while it was out. So it was still a fun POI. It was still a fun landmark, excuse me, but there's nothing really going on with it, so I'm going to put it in C tier behind Pleasant Park. Now, if there ever was an F tier location, it would be the destroyed stadium from Season X. This is really funny that this is a thing. So, there's nothing going on here. The concept for it was really cool because they had the peppers and the hop rocks and like the things were glitching out and different things you would see kind of everywhere. So, I would imagine this is going to be the worst POI on the list. I don't know, it's gotta be, right? Like, you came here and it's literally a dirt patch. It's reminding me of like, you dug a little bit in Minecraft, you know what I mean? Now, let's keep going though. Let's keep going to Dusty Depot. Dusty Depot, A tier location. I think Dusty Depot's an A tier location because it was in the middle of the map. The drop spots were fun. There was like no loot, so you had just a couple guns there. Everyone was fighting for it. Dusty Depot in Chapter 1, Season 3 and 4 was amazing. Amazing to fight at, along with Season X too, because it was really, really fun, guys. Dusty Depot, there's nothing wrong with it. It's a very simple POI with some decent loot, very small location. Always action going on around it. So this was a very, very fun location to fight at. That's definitely an A tier location for me. Let's move on to Dusty Diner though. Dusty Diner is Dusty Depot, but improved. There was a restaurant to it. There's some destroyed areas to it. You can drop down to the divot from there. There's like a big cliff to fall off. It's all the fun of Dusty Depot, but a little bit added to it. So I'm going to also throw this into the A tier, but in front of Dusty Depot. So Dusty Diner is a great location. Now, Dusty Divot, the OG Dusty Divot. Do I want to throw this into the S tier or the SS tier? This is a tough one because I really enjoy that location. Right when it came out in Fortnite Chapter 1, Season 4, this location was absolutely amazing to fight in. Whether it's the whole thing was there was hop rocks and everyone was bouncing around and it was really open and you had that like little tiny gated area. Man, it was so much fun to fight at. I absolutely loved it. Dusty Divot, man. It's either S or SS. I'm going to put it in S tier for here, but if no, you know what? It wasn't SS because SS I feel like would be one of those locations where I'm like, yes, absolutely, 110% amazing location. So it was a very, very good place. Like I would put the Authority in like the SS, you know? Let's keep moving on to Dusty Divot, but this time with all of the grass grown. Honestly, I thought it was pretty much just as much fun as a POI. I really, really enjoyed it, but something about the original Dusty Divot being really, really open and everybody was so vulnerable jumping around with the hop rocks just made it that much more fun. So, do I want to throw Dusty Divot? Yes, I do. Dusty Divot with the grass is also an S tier. However, it's not nearly as much fun. Well, I wouldn't say not nearly. It's not as much fun as the original Dusty Divot. Now, this area, what did they call it? Salty Hill? I think that's what most people called it. I called it like, I don't think I had an actual name for this one, but there was a lot of high ground on it. People were always building up to it from various different locations. This was off to the side, if you don't remember, off to the side of Dusty Divot actually, but there's not a lot going on here, but the fights were really fun. The different elevations always make it for a really, really good time. Yeah, but there's not a lot going on here. However, the fights were pretty fun. I almost want to throw it in the B tier, but to be honest with you guys, I am not a big Pleasant Park fan. I'm throwing a C tier in front of Pleasant Park. Now, This area, what was that? Oh, it was knockoff Risky Reels. It wasn't really built like Risky Reels, but it was like in the same spot as Risky Reels. So when my friend and I were playing Arena, we would always land there. This spot has a special place in my heart because my friend and I, when we played Arena when it first came out, this was our go-to spot. It was very underrated, lots of loot. You'd farm the fence, it would get a lot of metal. I actually really enjoyed this spot, guys. I really did. And of course, like, if something I forgot to say, of course, at the beginning of the video is this is all my opinion, right? I would love to know what you guys think down below afterwards, but I really enjoyed this. I'm going to throw into the A tier. Top of A tier right now. Knockoff Risky is a great POI. Now, I don't recall the name of this landmark here. It was like the beaches with the hot springs. There wasn't a ton going on around here, but it was very unique. We haven't seen anything like this on the Fortnite map at the time. I'm going to throw this one to the C tier as well, but yeah, there's not much going on with it. I'm going to throw it right behind Pleasant, so yeah, that's a good spot for it. Now, this other, with these other landmark with the same kind of build to it, it was just a regular place, to be honest with you. It came in when the jungle season spawned. It was like one of those factories that were built like with the planes where they came out. So there, again, not too much going on with this one. However, this one had a basement to it. Sometimes the fights would be fun because you get stuck under there. People are going to hate me. You guys are going to disagree with me so hard on here. I liked it better than Pleasant Park. I'm just not a Pleasant lover, man. But speaking of places I don't love Retail Row. I've never really loved Retail Row. Retail Row was my OG spot, the first spot that I've ever landed. We got a victory royale that game. So for that, it does hold a special place in my heart. But like Pleasant Park, there's just... I don't get the hype, man. I was never really into the hype. Retail Row is going at the top of C tier for me. It's just an okay POI, but... more than okay POIs is Frosty Flights with the planes, the different Arctic bases. It was kind of like a maze in there. You had different elevations with the ice rocks. You had another base above if you want to count the helicopter area. That was really fun. Frosty Flights is a great spot. A really good spot. I don't know, man. There were so many good spots in Chapter 1. I'm going to throw it into the B tier for now, but I might move that one up. But the OG factories. The OG factories, like Pleasant Park, like Retail Row, don't have a strong attraction to. It was just okay. So, with the meteor, it made it a little bit more fun because people could shoot down with the meteor. So, I'm going to throw this one at the bottom of B tier. That's probably where it's going to go. Now, Fatal Fields, one of the greatest farm POIs of all time. The corn was great. The barns were great. The split between all the houses were great. There was just enough open area. The house was an absolute blast to fight in. Fatal Fields is a very, very good POI. I'm going to throw it at the bottom of A tier. That's where it's going to go so far. And now, I don't know what this place is called. The place where, what was it called? I don't remember. The place by Junk Junction, it had the drift boards. It evolved into a racetrack. Very solid POI, or very solid landmark, but there's nothing too special about it. This place is going to go into C tier, right in front of Retail Row. Now, the floating island. The floating island that has returned in some form in Chapter 4, but this was the original. You could jump on the side of it and then float, and it made for some really, really interesting fights. There wasn't like really any fall damage that you could take with it. You'd have to really be an idiot with impulse grenades or to really do something to yourself. So it was really fun. The Loot Lake House was like a very unique POI at the time. It was roaming around the map. This place was an absolute blast to fight on. Okay, where am I going to throw the floating island? I think it's a B tier. I think it's going to go in the B tier. I'm going to put it right behind Frosty Flights. Now, the split up floating island. This was after the live, or was it before or after the live event? Why am I having a blank here? Regardless, it was the same thing with the floating island, except of course it was a little bit split apart. And to be honest with you, I liked that a little bit better because then of course, like, it was 3 small areas around Kevin that was really interesting. Like there's not too much to say besides it was kind of like the original floating island. I like this better, but I'm going to put it around the same area. So right in front of the floating island. Next up, the factories, people. Oh, that's not the disco place. That's Flush Factory. Flush Factory I never really liked. I didn't like it when it kind of came back, and I didn't like it then. I was never a Flush Factory guy. This is going to go in the C tier. I'm going to put it in front of Retail Row. Now, the Meteor. The Meteor was a very visually appealing POI. I liked that it was in the sky. I liked that it was low gravity. I liked running around the tunnels. That was really fun. There was no loot there, so I don't know. Typically, I would like a POI if it was built like the Meteor. I love that the Visitor came out of it. I was really fascinated when it came out. Like, I love being there and I love looking at it. But there wasn't a lot to do. There wasn't a lot to explore. And there just wasn't too fun to fight at. You know? The Meteor I did like more than most people. I'm going to throw this one into the bottom of B tier. That's where I'm going to put the Meteor. Now, Gotham City. Gotham was one of the greatest tilted iterations in Fortnite history. I absolutely love Gotham City. I loved how dark it was. I loved the rift zones, guys. If you've been following the channel at all, you would know that I am a big fan of any rift zone in Fortnite. And this was great. You could redeploy your glider. It had like all the scary, cool Batman stuff. It was like a really unique, fun spin on tilted towers. Gotham City, S tier. S tier. I'm going to throw it at the bottom of S tier for now. Or did I like it more than Dusty Divot with the grass? I don't know, man. I think I did. I'm splitting the two Dusties because this one's a little bit special. I might move that one into SS. No, because I feel like if I want to throw one in SS, it's going to be an instant feeling. You know what I mean? It's going to be an instant feeling when I throw it in SS. Now, what is this place? Why can't I see what it is? I don't know which POI this is. Huh. Oh my god, am I an idiot? That's not Starry Suburbs. What place is that? Oh, is that Greasy Grove? I think it's Greasy. I believe it is Greasy Grove. Apologies if it's not Greasy Grove. But guys, just like Retail Row, just like Pleasant Park, I was never a fan. I was never a fan of Greasy Grove, and to be honest with you, I liked it less. Greasy Grove, you're going right behind Pleasant Park. That's where I'm going to throw Greasy Grove. Let's move on to Risky Reels now. There we go. We got our S tier. Okay, now I'm feeling good about that because that was like an instant feeling. That's what I was feeling about SS. Risky Reels is a perfect POI. Since it came out, the Search 7 chest at Risky Reels was a blast, and Risky was always one of those drop spots that was absolutely incredible. Now, the mistake here is it is the Chapter 2 version of Risky Reels in the picture, but it was well done in Chapter 1, you know what I mean? Oh no, it might not be. What am I saying? I think it's just the graphics that made me say that. Wow, that was a stupid thing. Hey, Clen, Jesus Christ, man. No, that's the Chapter 1 version. What's wrong with me? So, Risky Reels, great spot to fight in. Lot of loot. The little house was perfect. The projector. Everything about this POI is absolutely incredible. SS tier, 100%. Now, let's continue on. The Frozen Greasy Grove. I actually really like this more than Greasy Grove. It was really fun to fight on ice. Everybody was always sliding around and you'd have to build to protect yourself. And so you could hide in the top of the greasy houses, and like some of them had basements where you could like see the inside of Greasy Grove that was all frozen. I enjoyed it, man. To be honest with you, I really enjoyed fighting here. Okay, this is gonna sound crazy, but I'm throwing it into B tier. Do I like it more than Frosty Flights? No. That seems very fitting for me. Now, what is this one? Oh, this is Greasy. This is Greasy. Huh. Then what the heck is this one? Am I stupid? I know like everything there is to know about Fortnite. Oh, I understand. That's Greasy, and this is the Greasy Grove with the rift zone around it because it's like just the little circle. Ah ha ha. Okay, guys, hear me out. So Greasy Grove was in the C tier. Okay, I don't like Greasy Grove. However, Greasy Grove with the rift zone and with Taco Time turns this into an SS tier location. I'm not kidding you. I don't know what everyone made the big fuss about Taco Time for. I found that hilarious. I found it fun. No matter what, if you're having a build fight or whatever, all of a sudden everybody had to dance. I loved it. I loved the spin that it put on the gameplay. It was absolutely incredible. Just you're fighting somebody and then everybody gets healed. Like you could be like 1 health and the Taco Time would heal you. Everybody just goes. I loved it, man. I absolutely loved it. It was incredible. And anyways, let's move on. Happy Hamlet. For Christmas POI, it's a go-to POI. If you're ranking all the Christmas stuff, ooh, we should do that during the holidays. Ranking Christmas POIs. I really like that. Oh, and Sunny's making an appearance. I gotta kick her out. 1 second. She is an incredible puppy. She's super intelligent. I can already have her running on her own without them just being in the kennel, but she doesn't understand not chewing on wires yet. My PC has so many, so she's interrupting the recording videos, and she is the reason. Sunny, as good of a girl as she is the reason why I've been streaming so much. But we're gonna be back to normal soon. This dog is so intelligent. But let's get back to the video. So, Happy Hamlet. Goated Christmas POI, and I guarantee she's going to be coming back in because I'm alone right now. My girl's over at work. Anyways, Happy Hamlet. The layout for the POI, it's just some houses with some snow. I loved it for Christmas time, but like in comparing it to other places, like if I were to like go land there, you know, I can't just rank this on like how cool it was for Winterfest. I can't. So for just a POI, it's going to have to go in the C tier, and I'm going to put it, it's going to run the C tier for now. That's where I'm going to put it, okay? Now, the Haunted Castle. This was an okay POI. when it came, it was pretty cool, but there's not too much to really say about it. It was a castle. It's a castle on the hill. The elevation was fun, but there's nothing like really cool inside the castle, you know? So the castle, it's going to also go in the C tier, but where am I going to throw it into the C tier? I'm going to put it behind this little hill here, and I see somebody. Hey. I apologize, guys. I don't know if that takes away from the video at all, but I think she's cute, so I'm going to keep it, and I just ended up moving her kennel to the door to block it, so she wants to see me. She has to go inside the kennel, and that's as far as she can get, so again, my apologies. I don't know if that takes away from the video, so let's keep going. I don't know if this every landmark had its own actual name, right? But shout out to PlayStation Grenade Hut Watch. Oh man, I don't know what this is called, but this is just a little POI, man. Like, I can't rank it highly. There's nothing about it. When I was landing there, like, there's no reason to really go there besides update unite. You know what I mean? As much as I love Hut Watch and as much as I loved that series, I have to put it at the bottom of C tier, man. That's where I gotta put it. And I see the pretty girl is in her kennel now. Yeah, so that worked out. Anyways, let's continue on. Junk Junction. At the time, people really disliked Junk Junction, but I loved it, man. I thought it was a great POI. Very unique. Extremely unique. It really made the fights really fun to fight in. If you were to land there right off the bat, it was an absolute blast because, like, you had all the junk and then you had to, like, run around it. It was really fun. I'm gonna throw Junk Junction into the A tier. I'm gonna put it right behind Dusty Divot, or Dusty Depot, excuse me. Yeah, that's about right. There we go. That works. I don't know. Dusty Depot. I don't know. I kind of want to move it up. Yeah, I'm gonna move it. It's gonna run A tier because I like it. I don't like it nearly as much as a Divot, but it was a good POI. Let's move on though. Where was this? This was on the side of the map. I don't know if it had a name because that's not John Wick's house. It's that other POI. It's like it wasn't a prison. It had that underground area. It was like a knockoff junk, maybe. Is that what you could call it? It was a solid POI. It was fun to fight in. Nothing too special about it though. I'm going to throw it into C tier. I'm going to have it run the C tier. That's where it's going to work. I enjoyed fighting there more than Happy Hamlet. Guys, like, the way that I'm ranking all of these things is like, if I were to play the game, all of these were on the map, where would I have the most fun? That's where I'm like, where my mind's at, if it helps you at all. So Lazy Lagoon though. Lazy Lagoon is a blast to play, and I loved playing around in Lazy Lagoon, okay? The cannons were great, the pirate ship was great, the water was great, it had some slow movement to it. I love the pirate houses, I love the theme. Lazy Lagoon was a great POI. I'm going to put it at the top of A tier. Almost an S tier, but not quite. Nah, Lazy Links. Lazy Links is going to the S tier. Lazy Links is absolutely an S tier POI. I actually loved playing golf here with the toy emote when it first came out. That was really fun. As well as I absolutely loved, like, just landing at that greenhouse, putting traps in there, making a blast everywhere. The pool was fun to fight at. The court was fun to fight at. Those little houses, the whole golf course, that little area at the back that could have up to 3 chests or sometimes 0. This whole POI is great. It is definitely an S tier POI. I think I liked it more than the Divot. I think I did. You know, I liked it more than Gotham too. S tier for Lazy Links, but I didn't like it as much. Oh, this is tough, man. Did I like it more than the OG Dusty Divot? I did. Running the S tier right now. Lazy Links. Good job, Lazy Links. Now, Lonely Lodge. I didn't like Lonely Lodge. Did not like Lonely Lodge that much. The only fun part about it was when somebody was looting that really tall place. You know, I don't know how big you're watching this on. If you're watching a phone or something, if you could see that tower at Lonely Lodge. If somebody was looting it, I would just chop it down. That was like to the extent of my fun with Lonely Lodge. So Lonely Lodge is going to go... I'm going to put it right in front of the castle. Yeah, that's where I'm going to put Lonely Lodge. But let's move on. Salty Springs. Just like the rest of the OG POI, like Retail Row and all that, I didn't really like Salty Springs that much. However, the blue house in the basement was a blast, and that carried Salty Springs. That carried Salty Springs for me, and that's why I'm going to put it at the bottom of B tier. Now, okay, I'm assuming this is Season X, because there was the Loot Lake with the 0 point at the end of Season 9, where it was just visual and didn't do anything. But I don't see the Rift Zone. It's tough to tell. I'm going to assume it's the Rift Zone in Season X. And if that's the case, this is absolutely an S tier POI. Did I like it more than Taco Time? I did. The visuals carried it. I loved being in there. I loved the whole 0 point effect. I loved the low gravity. I loved that it was a little bit difficult to see. I loved what you could bring a bunch of vehicles in there, and it also had the low gravity effect and the 0 point. If you got into the middle, you could rift to the sky. I loved everything about this POI. SS tier, absolutely. Again, rift zones are incredible. Now we're running through the loot lakes here, it looks like. So we have the loot lake with the vault. It's Loot Lake, nothing too special about it. The vault was fun for the storyline, it was fun visually, it was fun speculating about it, but as a POI to fight at, there's nothing special about it. This one's going in the C tier. I'm going to put it though, because it was always populated, and it was pretty open, it was fun to fight in. I'm going to put it right here in C tier, that's where I'm going to throw it. But Leaky Lake, honestly, guys, Leaky Lake, the same thing. It was a little prettier, but there was a couple more rocks. I'm going to put it also into the C tier. Now, the Kevin Loot Lake. The Kevin Loot Lake, guys. The Kevin Loot Lake. Where am I going to throw this one? The bouncy Kevin Loot Lake. I almost want to throw it into the SS tier, but I'm not having that instant feeling. So I'm throwing it into the S tier. I'm going to put it in front of Lazy Links. This, guys, if you had the privilege of experiencing this POI when it first came out, Loot Lake, when Kevin first bounced in there, it was so much fun. You could just bounce everywhere, and everybody was fighting each other. Like, nobody could stay still, and the only time you could stay still is if you landed on the Loot Lake house. And it was so crowded because everybody was trying to not bounce around. It was a fun time for the short time that it was there. S tier, absolutely. S tier, absolutely. I wish more POIs could have that Kevin Loot Lake thing, or we could just really revisit it like one day, that whole thing. Now, again, Leaky Lake, but this time with the tornado in it. Same thing. I'm going to throw it with the other ones, except the tornado didn't really bring that much to it. In fact, that probably ruined the POI a little bit. Yeah, I'm going to leave it there. Now, regular Loot Lake. Regular Loot Lake was great, okay? Regular Loot Lake with the house and all the water around it, where you had to like do those little like that slow crawling, and you had to like crouch walk. It was a blast, man. It was an absolute blast, Loot Lake. So this one is an A tier POI in my opinion. But where am I going to throw it in the A tier? I'm going to throw it in front of, did I like it? No, yeah, right behind Lazy Lagoon. I think that's a really good spot for it, and I just realized I need to lower my face cam. Now, guys, let's talk Lucky Landing. I'm not going to lie to you. So many people are going to disagree with me, man. I didn't like Lucky Landing, just like I didn't like Pleasant Park or Retail Row, you know? It was, at least the houses were a little unique, and the layout for it was a little unique. The tree was nice. It was a pretty place to look at. It's like, I don't know, though. I don't know. I just didn't love it, man. I'm going to throw it into the C tier, but it was better than most of the POIs in here. I'm going to throw it. It's going to run the C tier, I think. No, you know what? I had more fun at this little prison. I had more fun at that little prison. So Lucky Landing is going to be in the C tier around there. Now, John Wick's house. John Wick's house was really cool when it was added. It's unique. You could get some loot, but it was just a big house. So compared to the rest of the POIs that we talked about here, it really doesn't stack up. I enjoyed it more than the Loot Lake places, I believe. I don't know. There was some a little bit more special about this Loot Lake, the one with the vault there. So I'm going to like split up the Loot Lakes and throw it right there. Now, Moisty Palms. Moisty Palms S tier. Absolutely S tier. You could have Prop Hunt. It was a rift zone. It was great. It was combining two of the great POIs in Moisty Mire and Paradise Palms. It was so much fun. Plus, you could turn into a prop at any time. I always camp the reboot van. It was great landing there. It was Paradise Palms is almost an S tier location in itself. Moisty Palms just took that and improved on it. So I'm going to throw Moisty Palms in front of Gotham. I absolutely loved fighting around there. Now, where is this one? This is just like one of those places at the top corner of the map, right? It was like the farm with the little bunkers in it. It was a good POI, or a good landmark. I keep saying POI for everything, but it was a good landmark. I had fun fighting there. You know what? That's running the C tier. That's where it's gonna go. Now, Anarchy Acres. Guys, I don't understand the hype for Anarchy Acres. It's a knockoff Fatal Fields. Fatal Fields was infinitely better than this. Where did I place Fatal Fields? Where's Fatal Fields at? I thought we talked about Fatal Fields. Oh, it's in the A tier. So, Anarchy Acres. Fatal Fields is way more fun. But it was an okay POI. Also C tier for me, guys. Also C tier, I'm going to throw it behind that place. Now, this little house, the one where you could edit everything. You know what? It was fun. It was fun. I'm going to throw it right in front, right behind the Loot Lake Vault. Right in front of John Wick's house. I think that's a good spot for it. Moving on, those two little houses off to the side of Risky Reels. That, you know what? We had some good times in that place, man. We had some really good times in that place. But at the end of the day, it's a couple little houses, so it's going to have to go into the C tier. I'm going to put it right in front of Anarchy Acres, guys. That's where I'm going to throw it. I'm moving this. I really like this little location here, you know? But guys, continuing on, one of the first crossover POIs, if you want to call it that, the soccer stadium that was it for FIFA? I believe some soccer game was going on or something, and they added the soccer skins, and then they had this for a little bit. It was really fun. Like, it was really open. You had the stadium. You could go into the back rooms of the stadium. You could have the parking lot. This is a great POI. It was really fun to fight at. Does it stack up to the A tier locations? I think it does. I think it does. I'm going to put it in front of Fatal Fields. I really enjoyed that POI for the time that we've had it. Now, the chair. I don't know what you guys call this, but I called it the chair. Great POI. Absolutely underrated POI. But thinking about the rest that we stacked here, I think this one, the chair, and the little houses beside it, the gas station, it's going to run the B tier. That's where I am going to throw this one. Now, this is a Rift Zone, so this means that this is Pandora. I loved Pandora. I thought it was a blast to fight in. I don't think Pandora was an S tier location, but it is absolutely an A tier location. The question is, do I like it better than Loot Lake? Because I think the cannons made up for it, so it's not better than Lazy Lagoon. I think I did like it better than Loot Lake. Yeah, Pandora was great, guys. The Rift Zone where and the graphics changed to Borderlands style. All the Borderlands houses, it was unique. It was like nothing we've ever seen in Fortnite before. And you were constantly gaining shields. So if you hurt somebody, you had to continue hurting them. You had to really get on the pursuit. So it changed the gameplay, and that's why I really, really loved it. So Pandora was a great POI. Now, Paradise Palms. Paradise Palms. Paradise Palms was a go-to landing spot, but I'm thinking that's mostly because my squad really loved, like my OG squad loved Paradise Palms. I'm thinking, did I like Paradise Palms as much as like Lazy Links or Dusty Divot or even, yeah, I don't think so. Paradise Palms is going to run the A tier, okay? Something about it's just not making me absolutely love it nearly as much as these other POIs right here. Yeah, I feel like I would know if it's an S tier location, but it's a very, very good location, Paradise Palms. This is probably going to run the A tier category. It was great. Now, pirate camps. These I see we have 2 pirate camps here, so I guess we're going to get a little bit specific because, oh, that's right, because this one was different and these ones were kind of, oh, and I just realized I need to change my webcam, or can I just scroll down a little bit? Yeah, that works. That works. We don't need to see Tier Maker, although Tier Maker is a go-to website. Okay, let's talk about this pirate camp. It was a very convenient location, but a lot of these were the same, so I'm going to kind of judge them all like they were the same. It was fun to fight at, but at the end of the day, nothing too special about them. I like that there were cannons there. I like that you could get a lot of metal. C tier. Right behind the junk place. Now, this pirate camp was significantly better because it was outside of Paradise Palms and it was infused with a bunch of houses that were already there and a bridge. So this was a really, really good one. This was the best pirate camp. I'm going to put this one in the B tier, but where? I'm going to actually, guys, to be honest with you, I'm going to put it right behind the frozen greasy lake, man. Take a look at this. Like, I feel like I'm the only person on YouTube or like person in general that would have a tier list of chapter 1 locations and have it look like this. Like in the C tier, I have Pleasant Park, I have Greasy Grove, I have Retail Row, and I have the Loot Lake and the Taco Time Rift Zones in SS tier. Guys, I'm telling the truth where I'm placing everything, man. But, okay, speaking of SS tier locations, we have Polar Peak, one of the greatest POIs to ever grace Fortnite. Oh my god, was it fantastic. Tough spot, okay? This is really tough. I'm throwing it in front of Risky. It's running the show right now. Polar Peak was an amazing POI. The castle was huge. The story with it was fantastic, although it's not really something to judge. I loved the elevation. It was a high POI. There were so many spots to fight, and it was huge. You could run around the castle. You could run around the prison. The snow was there. There was so much loot. If you want to talk about the Infinity Blade, I had a lot of fun with that myself. It was really, really great. Polar Peak is an SS tier POI at 110%. Let's keep going, guys. Moving on. Oh my goodness, we're getting to the great POIs. Pressure Plant. Pressure Plant's one of my favorite POIs of all time because you had all of the perimeter and the volcano already, so you had all of those elevations. When we have different elevations, like when I talk about like Stark Industries is a prime example, Polar Peak is a prime example, that makes fighting so much more fun Pressure Plant also had, like, and it depends on what iteration you're talking about, because you had the part with the mech in the middle, you had the part where you could glide in the middle, and you had the part where it was just open and you were ready to be fired at. No matter which version of Pressure Plant you're talking about, I think it is the most underrated POI in Fortnite. I wholeheartedly believe that. Every single iteration and update throughout Pressure Plant was a blast to fight at, was a blast to play at. You even had that little area with the lava at the bottom. The bunkers were great. There were little tunnels that you could fight in. You could have like every single little like part of gunplay in Pressure Plant. What a great POI. I didn't like it nearly as much as, or not nearly. I didn't like it as much as Polar Peak, but it's holding second in SS tier. Absolutely 100%. What a great POI. Now, you want to talk about great POIs. The block. The block. Oh, SS tier for the block. Okay. This is tough. I'm putting it ahead of Taco Time. I loved that it got updated all the time. And I loved that you could have different players' creations and different ideas. People made maps that were nothing like Epic Games has ever made. And every single time the block was out, well, pretty much every single time. There were a few duds, but the block was fantastic, guys. The block, I loved, again, whatever players could make. Sometimes, like, we have the Creative Augment video. Sometimes players come up with better ideas than Epic Games. And I wish Epic Games could reintroduce the block, because could you imagine what people could do with Creative 2.0? I will forever hope the block comes back, but the block was a great POI. I loved having it different every single week, and it was almost always a banger, the block. Now, let's talk about the prison. The OG prison. It was a fun spot. It had some hop rocks in the middle, and the cages in the prison was just really fun to fight inside of, guys. This is a very solid POI. I don't have too much to say about it. It's going to go in the A tier. I'm going to put it... I'm going to put it right in front of Loot Lake. I think that's where I'm going to put it. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about it. Everybody had different ideas for whatever this was. A lot of people, I believe, called it Westworld. Okay? This is... there are so many good locations, man. There were so many good locations. It's going in the S tier, SS tier. I loved this spot. Do I like it better than Taco Time? I'll put it in front of the block. This was one of the greatest POIs of all time. First of all, the fights were fun. The houses were tiny, so that made for some really fun fights. You could shoot each other through the windows, and it was always chaotic. It always had people, and most importantly, it had that little ledge that you could always fall off of, or impulse or shockwave somebody off of, or drive a car into them and bounce them. I loved having the instant kill there, and I can't tell you the amount of times my friends and I killed each other at this location. I have some of my best memories at this spot, okay? It was great, but the gunplay was fantastic. Don't get me wrong. The gunplay was absolutely fantastic with it. Let's keep going, though. The racetrack. The racetrack was a very fun POI. Whether you wanted to race or fight on it, there were tires everywhere. There were two really cool factories. You could always have ATVs or hoverboards there. It was a really solid POI. Not too much to say about it. I'm going to throw this one into the A tier. I'm going to put it... I'm going to put it right behind... Don't want to put it in front of Loot Lake. No, I'm going to put it right behind Loot Lake. In front of Loot Lake. In front of the prison. Yeah. That's where I'm going to put it, okay? Let's keep going. What spot is this? Oh, it's the RV park. The RV park was fun, okay? There was a lot, like, back then you got to think about when this spot was really fun to play at, okay? Nobody would really build too much, so everybody was always running around the cars, and you had that one barn, a couple little houses, little shacks you could hide inside of. You could always farm for metal. This was like one of the go-to spots for metal if you were looking to skybase. It was a solid POI. It was a solid landmark. I think it's going to go to B tier. I'm going to put it at the bottom of B tier, actually. It was okay. It was a fun spot. Now, oh, it's the Shifty houses. Guys, I wasn't a big fan of Shifty shafts. The Shifty houses were okay. Like, they had the basement there, which gave it some plus. I'm going to throw it behind the pirate camp. Yeah, that sounds about right. No, I'm going to throw it behind this. Yeah, that's where I'm going to put it. Now, the skeleton. The skeleton was fun when it first came out. But then there wasn't too much, like, really anything special about it. Because you could fight on top of the sword. You could fight on top of the skeleton. But unless people had a launch pad or were really, like, coming in with a hoverboard, you never really had time to fight over there. And even if you were up there, you would get sniped unless you, like, built an entire box. So it was an okay spot. It was very unique. It's very pretty to look at. But I found myself, like, barely going there. You know, it was fun to fight every once in a while when you get inside the skeleton. I think this spot, guys, is going to run the C tier, I believe. No. I'm going to put it in front of Anarchy Acres. It was an okay spot. Not too bad, but the sky bases were fun. Speaking of C tier, I'm going to have it run the C tier. The sky bases were a blast because people could come out of nowhere, you could fly off, and it was such a little area. The inside was a blast because they had the automatic doors, right? So people could come in, just the door would open automatically, then bang, you would shoot them, and it was really fun to fight there, guys. I don't have too much to say about that, but it was really fun. I liked fighting at those sky bases. Now, I guess this is this is one of the main spots for the slipstreams, or is it like kind of encompassing all the slipstreams maybe? Regardless, it was fun. I enjoyed the slipstreams, okay? The slipstreams were fun. Like, I didn't love Season 9 because they were everywhere, but, like, to have this specific spot at the beginning, like, if we were to get into a fight here, you could all of a sudden, like, run upstairs, get in the slipstream, and then, like, float behind somebody or float on top of their build. It made for pretty unique fights. It was pretty good, so... there's nothing too special about it. It just changed the gunplay a little bit. I'm going to actually put it in front of this skeleton. That's where I'm going to put that. That seems about right. No... I'm going to put it in front of this pirate camp. Yeah, that sounds about right. Now, Snobby Shores. Snobby Shores is great. Snobby Shores was very nostalgic. It's a bunch of houses. Great loot. Had the edge there. Trolled a little bit with my friends. It was a good POI. But I think it's also going to go into the C tier. Where am I going to throw Snobby Shores? No, you know what? Snobby Shores is going to go into the B tier. Bottom of B tier for Snobby Shores. Okay. Another racetrack. This one was the racetrack, but not nearly as good. It was a dirt road. I believe there were some ballers there and some hoverboards, one of the two. Hoverboards were definitely there when hoverboards came out. It was just a racetrack, but if you were going to go race, it was on another spot. So, C tier for this one. I'm going to put it in front of John Wick's house. That seems about right. That's a good spot for it. Now let's keep going to the crates, guys. The crate landmark was really fun because it restricted your builds and it was really weird to fight in. You could hide in many different crates. Like, this was a blast, especially in the OG days. If you were having a tense spot or if you were running away from somebody, this was the spot to get away from people, okay? I loved this spot. The crates, I'm going to throw it into the A tier, man. I'm going to throw it into the A tier. I'm going to put it in front of the racetrack. Yeah, that's where I'm going to put it. Like, this place was absolutely fantastic, but I also got to make my face cam smaller again. Jeez, we're getting towards the end here, eh? The crate, like I said, guys, the crates were great. The crates were absolutely fantastic. Now the soccer field, the OG soccer field. Am I wrong in saying, like, everybody had some of the greatest fights in Fortnite history there? Plus, you could actually play soccer. One of the reasons why I loved Lazy Link so much was you could actually play soccer in this POI. So it had that fun element to it. Plus, you had that, was the glitch with the playground in this spot? I believe it was either that or Retail Row. Regardless, the glitch wasn't, you can tell I didn't really do the glitch. But anyways, this spot, like, I swear to God, you would have some of the greatest fights in Fortnite history here, and I don't know why. Soccer field, guys, is an S tier location. I'm gonna put it in front of Gotham. That's where I'm gonna throw the soccer field. It was a great POI. Starry Suburbs. The greatest location in Fortnite history. Starry Suburbs. 100%. There is no location to this day. Starry Suburbs. You want to talk about Fortnite Chapter 1, Chapter 2, Chapter 3, Chapter 4, and probably Chapter 5, probably Chapter 6 and 7. Starry Suburbs might be my favorite location in Fortnite history. Forever. It's definitely my favorite location in Fortnite history right now. It was a beautiful little town. It was small, compact. The houses were built, so it was all structured in so you could have the fun inside of those houses with a lot of loot. Plus, it was a rift zone, and it was beautiful watching those nice little... I loved the music when you entered it. I loved when the stars would come down and grant you with the tactical SMG, the golden tactical SMG, so that was another great spot about it. The vibes were great, the fights were great, the visuals were great. Everything about this POI in its limited time in one of the greatest seasons of all time was perfect. Starry Suburbs, the top of SS tier. I could realistically give it its own tier, but I'm not going to do that, actually. I think it's pretty level. Like, Polar Peak and Pressure Plant, it was like, these top three here were some, like, I believe the greatest POIs ever, man. They really are risky. Like, the SS tier, man, all of these are so good. But let's keep going. Is this the old broken down place, like Starry Suburbs before it was Starry Suburbs? I think it was. This was a good POI. It was fun. Like, it was low key, and sometimes you get fights in here, and it was weird because you have to hide behind like a little piece of wood. You know, it was okay. It was an okay spot, but it's not Starry Suburbs. It's Starry Suburbs before it was great. So this POI or this landmark is going to go into the C tier, but it was a good one. I'm going to throw it in front of the Shifty houses. That seems about right. Let's talk about Sunny Steps, though. To be honest with you guys, I enjoyed Sunny Steps a lot better in Chapter 3 than I did Chapter 1. They were different, but I don't recall how at the moment. I think just in Chapter 1, man, there were a lot better POIs to compare it to. But it was a good POI. It was a good POI. Like, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all. Honestly, it B tier. The temples were fun to fight in. It was visually appealing. I'm going to throw it in front of Salty Springs. That seems about right for it. All right, guys, let's talk about Tilted Towers. Now, I am a Tilted lover, okay? Tilted Towers is great, but I don't love it nearly as much as the rest of the Fortnite community does. Everybody would talk about it like I would have it, like they have it in their top 3, okay? It's not even an S tier location for me. Gotham is, because it had a little bit of a gimmick to it. But Tilted Towers, like, what can I say, man? Everybody landed there. It's always so chaotic there. Conquering Tilted Towers, especially in Chapter 1, was one of the greatest accomplishments you could ever accomplish. So pursuing that was always really, really fun. But Tilted Towers, I think, is just an A tier location. I'm going to throw it in front of the Junk Junction, excuse me. So there were POIs that I liked better. A lot of POIs that I liked better. But Tilted Towers was very, very good. Now you want to talk about, oh man, you want to talk about Tilted Towers, but good. The OG zero build location, no building, no breaking, Tilted Town. Guys, everybody cried and whined, and I still talk about it to this day, man. Everybody was like, oh, why would I want a spot where I can't build? I can't do anything. And then I was like, are you kidding me? This is different from the map. This is great. Fortnite should implement this in the build mode again. Have one rift zone where nobody can build. That was so much fun, and you couldn't break anything. So sometimes you get stuck. Oh, man. Like, I've had some of the most fun times in Tilted Town than I have in the entirety of Fortnite. Okay? The rift zones improved this game to a capacity like none other, man. It was so good. So good. I'm remembering all the good times I had in Tilted Town. No, like, the fact that you couldn't break anything, too, was perfect. You could hide behind stuff. You could get stuck. Like, imagine being stuck in a house. Like, it was so tense, man. I loved Tilted Town. SS tier, I'm going to put it in front of Loot Lake. That's where I'm going to put Tilted Town, I think. Yes, Tilted Town's right there. Anyways, and let's move on to Tomato Temple. Now, the Tomato Towns, they were good. They were good. I feel like they're more nostalgic than anything, but I am somebody who is not blinded by nostalgia. It was okay. Like, if you fought in there, I think it's the definition of a C tier POI. Like, Tomato Temple was good. I'm going to put it in, like, right behind this little area here. Yeah, that's about right. Now, Tomato Town was better. I liked the pizza pit you could fight in. It was like a little small town. If you want to, you know what? I'm going to include the little bridge area behind it because I don't see that as a landmark that is on the list here. So I'm going to include that. If we include that along with Tomato Town, it's infinitely better. It is way, way better and more fun of a location because that bridge by itself was so much fun. You had that little secret door. You could go in. It would bring you up to a big mountain. So with that included, it's a B tier. It's a B tier POI, and it's going to run the B tier. I liked it. It was a lot of fun to fight at. Very, very good. Very good for Tomato Town. Now, the gas station by Paradise Palms, that was pretty good. Where am I going to throw this one? It's just a gas station, though. I feel like the locations around it were better than this actual location. So this is by itself. It's a C tier location. I'm going to put it right behind the Sky Base. I feel like that's a little bit proper. Let's talk Viking Village, though. Viking Village. Great POI. Love the elevation. Love that you could fall off of it. Loved the ships. The little Viking houses were great. They were great loot. If you want to talk about, there was ice on it at one point. This is an S tier POI. This is an S tier POI. I liked it better than Dusty Divot, I think. Did I like it more than Gotham? I did. We're going to move Viking Village, and it's going to be right behind the soccer field. These two together, man, you could rotate from one to the other. It was a great POI. Absolutely fantastic. Now, what is this? What is this? I'm having trouble seeing it. I believe that this... What is this POI? Oh, it's the Softies POI. But the house is behind it. So this must be Season X, I believe. You guys know what I'm talking about? It's right behind Paradise. Or right by the racetrack. It was a good POI. A good landmark. I keep saying POI. I've been saying POI this entire video, guys. Jesus. Anyways, it was pretty solid. Fun to fight at. Where am I going to throw this one? I think it's a B tier. It's better than the C tier. Was it more fun than the factories? Yeah, it was more fun than the factories. I'm going to put it right here. Sorry, I'm making a lot of noise. I'm going to throw it right behind this pirate camp. It was a good POI. Very, very underrated. Now, Villain Lair. The Villain Lair was really fun. If you happen to get on top, first of all, the mountain was great. You could shoot people from all over the mountain. It was very, very high up at the top. If you actually had a fight in the Villain Lair, you were like encompassed. It was kind of like the Colossal Coliseum, but not as good as Colossal Coliseum. I loved it. I loved fighting there. The problem was you weren't there that often, you know? So that I don't know if it knocks it down. I don't think it should. The rocket was there. That was really fun, but you can't really include lore into that. It was an okay POI. I think I'm going to put this one in the C tier. I'm going to put it in front of the gas station. That's where I'm going to throw that. Now, the volcano was really fun. I had a good time at the volcano, but it was very bland. It was a lot of the same things. It would have been better if you could bounce on the lava inside the volcano instead of like being rifted from a lot of spots. So that, or not being rifted, but having like go into the skydiving effect. You know what I mean there? So that knocked it off a little bit, but on the outside of the volcano, it was really fun to fight at. You were constantly at a big slant. I liked it. I liked it, man. I'm going to put this in the B tier. But where in the B tier are we putting the volcano? I'm actually going to throw it in front. I'm going to throw it right behind Frosty Flights. That's where I'm going to put the volcano. I think it's a good spot for it. But Wailing Woods. Wailing Woods. This was a really, really fun POI. I liked it at the time better than Moisty Myers. With the basement, with the teleporters, with the maze, with the corrupted areas, there was a lot going on here. Plus, you could visit that vault that nobody knew what it was at the time. That was really fun to speculate too. Had the piano back there back in the day. Oh man, Wailing Woods was great. I really enjoyed Wailing Woods. A prime sky-based location. But like, you could do so many things. Like, fighting in the trees, like end games in Wailing Woods was some of the most fun you would have in Fortnite. You know what I mean? I loved it. I loved it. I'm not going to put it in the S tier, but this is definitely an A tier location. Where am I going to put this one? Okay, I am going to put Wailing Woods in front of... I'm torn. I'm torn right now. Guys, I'm going to put Wailing Woods... I'm going to put Wailing Woods in front of Paradise Palms. It's going to run the A tier category. Now, Disco Place. Disco Place, the best factory location we have seen on Fortnite. The Disco Place was great, and the factories around it were great. This was really fun to fight in. Great loot, great drop spot. This was very chaotic because you always had just enough people dropping here where it was really, really fun, and you could come out with a lot of loot. Like, it wasn't like too chaotic, but landing here with just around my right amount of people was great. And it was really fun to fight in the Disco Place because you had trouble hearing footsteps, you had trouble hearing people, you couldn't really hear the gunshots. It actually put a little bit of a spin on the gameplay. I enjoyed this spot, man. We're down to the good ones, eh? Oh, man. Where am I going to put this one? I don't know. I'm torn between S tier and A tier. I'm going to put it in the S tier. I'm going to put it at the bottom of S tier. Yeah, that's where I'm going to put that. No, you know what? Yeah. I'm going to move Dusty Divot down. That seems proper. That seems proper. Okay, let's move on. Crackshot's Cabin. I can't, like I talked about with Sunny or with Happy Hamlet, guys, I can't put this ranking just because it was a great Christmas POI. We're talking about Christmas. It was great. This is my special house. It was a lot of fun landing here, but the location for it was fun. Those mountains were very fun to fight in. It was a very convenient spot to fight in, and we didn't fight there very often. When we did, it was a lot of fun. So Crackshot's Cabin, man. I'm going to throw it at the bottom of C tier. Or B tier, excuse me, not C tier. I'm going to throw it at the bottom of B tier, and I need to redo my face cam again. We're rolling tiny for this last little bit, guys. Now, this little house on the edge of the map, like, it's just a little house. It was fun. I believe this one was at the bottom of Viking Village, but it was fun when you did go there, okay, guys? It was fun. I'm going to actually put this... Dude, guys, I'm going to be honest with you, because there's that risk of the water right next to it. I liked it. I liked it, so I'm going to actually put this in front of these two little houses here. This is such a weird tier list. Let's move on to the last two. We have the hill. Everybody called this grandma's house, but I called it the hill. This little house, I don't know why, was so much fun to fight at. If you landed there, it was crazy. People were always building up on this hill. People were always contested on this hill. It was a great little landmark. Oh my god, you could shoot people from Fatal. You could snipe people from distances here. This was a great spot. This was a great spot. If you like showed this little landmark to people who just started playing Fortnite in Chapter 2 or later, they'd be like, what the hell is this? But it was in a perfect location. It was the perfect right amount of people. People were always rotating here. There was always action here, and it was on a hill. It was fun. Like, some people would try to come up the hill, and then you would shoot them down. It was great. Lots of great times here. This is an A-tier location. This really is an A-tier location, okay? Where am I going to put this one, though? I'm going to put the hill in front of the racetrack. That's where I'm going to put the hill, okay, guys? Oh, my God, I need to move my face cam again. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. I'm at the top right now. This video's all over the place. Now, let's move on to this last one. I'm going to put it here because I can't see it, but what is this? What is this place? Is it just one of the corrupted areas when it first began? Or is it Kevin specifically when Kevin spawned? That's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to assume that's what it was because it had the shadow cubes. It has the, obviously, Kevin the Cube. And it has the spawn it has the cube spawner locations, like the corrupted areas. So I'm going to assume that Kevin is here. That's what it is. If Kevin being there, Kevin was very, very fun to fight at, especially when he first spawned. He could always kill somebody. He could always roll around. He could always zap somebody. Wherever Kevin the Cube was a blast. And maybe this location specifically is Kevin the Cube. But I'm going to encompass that entire picture. So I'm going to assume the shadow cubes are there. I'm going to assume it's a corrupted area. And I'm going to assume it's really dark and really fun to fight at. So taking all of that into consideration, A tier, absolutely. Absolutely A tier. But where am I going to put Kevin? Kevin was always like adding a lot of fun to where he was. I'm going to put him right in front of the racetrack. That's where I'm going to put it. And guys, that is every single landmark and location of Fortnite Chapter 1. This is probably the weirdest tier list you will ever see on the topic. I'm looking at it right now. How many people must be disagreeing hard right now? I have, oh my God, I have Greasy and Pleasant Park almost at the bottom. But guys, that's how I feel, man. I love the POIs of the gimmick. I love the POIs that really changed the dynamic of the game and changed the fights that everybody had. So that's where I'm at with it, man. I thought these POIs are great. There was nowhere where I hated. I love Fortnite, I love the gameplay wherever it was. So like going down to Hut Watch at the bottom, I still had fun fighting there. You know what I mean? That's why it was only SS, S, A, B, and C. Guys, if you stuck around the entire video, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it, guys. I really enjoy making this tier list content. So hit me with a like, hit me with a comment down below. Where would you rank your favorite Chapter 1 POIs of all time? I'd love to hear from you guys down in the comments. And thank you so much for watching, everybody. On the screen right now, if you'd like to continue watching the Clen channel, there will be 2 videos or 4 videos on screen for you to check out. I will see you either there or in the next video, guys. Take care.